What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, July the 6th. Did manage to get a day off last week. Took yesterday off, but was on the water quite a bit. A lot of that time over on Taneycomo with the holiday weekend and the madness that was Table Rock, so I wasn't here over the weekend. But just got done with the trip. Things are starting to change a little bit. Things are a little bit different. We'll get into that here in a minute. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 919.59 as of right now, which puts us 2.6 feet above normal. I can tell you they are dropping it pretty quick. A lot of the areas I was actually catching fish out of last week are now high and dry. So unless we get some rain later this week, I would expect the lake to probably get back to normal within the next week to 10 days, back to 917, because they're dropping it pretty fast, guys. It's probably coming down about 2.5 to 3 inches a day, so it's going to come down pretty quick. Water temperature really hasn't changed that much. We're still, I'm at Ants Creek, and we saw 82 to 84 all day long, and that's kind of where it's been, anywhere from about 80 to about 84 all over the lake. So water temperature hasn't changed that much, but the falling water is moving the fish, and the best way to stay on top of that is definitely join Table Rock Fishing Intel. Become a pro member, get those daily reports, the weekly reports, the maps, the feature videos, all the stuff we put out on a daily basis to help you catch more fish on Table Rock Lake. So check that out, tablerockfishingintel.com. See if that's for you, and if it is, sign up. 45 bucks a year, can't beat it. But if you're coming down, so you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I fished a couple of days down at the lower end last week. Bite is definitely a little bit different down there. A little bit, it's still a little bit tougher than it is anywhere else in the lake. The majority of the fish that we caught last week in the 2 trips I was down there, we caught some on a Kitech 2.8, on a Jewel Gem Shad 2.0. Most of those fish were on shallow gravel first thing in the morning. And by shallow, I mean they were as shallow as 4 or 5 foot deep, so basically just outside of the bushes. So we did catch some on a swim bait down there, caught a few on a shaky head or a Ned rig as well in those same locations, out about 10 or 12, but it really seems once the sun gets up, you're kind of regulated to either drop shotting or fishing a football jig. There is a decent football jig bite with either the Pee-wee football jig or the 5/8 heavy football jig. Both of those are working. Most of those fish are coming between 15 and 25 foot deep. Most of them on gravel or gravel mixed with rock, main lake points. Not really catching a lot back in the creeks on that. The other bite is obviously a drop shot rig. We have been catching them on main lake points, 25 to 35 foot deep, relating to the bottom. And the dock bite has really been pretty strong. Those bigger community docks or bigger condo docks, those sort of things, especially if they're over like 50, 60 foot of water. We've been catching several fish off of those docks. Down about 25 to 35. The key with that is you've got to hit a lot of docks to find these fish. You're not just going to pull up on every dock and find them. But when you do find fish, you're going to find pretty good sized groups of Kentucky. So keep that in mind. If you're going to fish the lower end, there is a decent drop shot bite both on the points and around the bigger boat docks. Go up in the mid-lake area, definitely want to have a swim bait tied on. We caught quite a few fish on a swim bait last week in the mid-lake, most of them again gravel. Some of them on secondary points in the bigger creek arms like White's Branch or Mill Creek, but really it's been for the most part on the main lake. Most of them anywhere from about early they'll be right up next to the bushes, so they'll be really shallow. They'll be 3 to 5 foot deep first thing in the morning, but as soon as the sun comes up, you've got to back out, and these fish are going to be more relating deeper, anywhere from 10 to 15, even 10 to 20 foot deep on the swim bait. The Kitech 2.8 on a Jewel Gem Shad 2.0. Caught them on a shaky head, either the Jewel Pro shaky head or the squirrel head. I've been using a Senko mostly on it, but I have caught a few on a beaver or a finesse worm using that. Most of those fish are anywhere from about 10 to about 20 foot deep on those gravel points, both main lake and secondary. And then we are catching them on a Pee-wee and a regular football jig down there too. So keep that in mind. Definitely catching some. Once the sun gets up, they get out a little bit deeper in that 15 to 25 foot range. A football jig is definitely the way to go, or a drop shot rig. Using the shad shape or the UV drop shot worm, either one of them, or Tromper's drop shot worm. Out there on those gravel points, anywhere from 25 to 35, and then again around the bigger docks. And it, for one reason or another, it has to be the bigger docks, mostly because you want the depth. But those bigger community docks or the condo docks, none of the marina docks, because you can't fish those, but any of those community or condo docks have been holding quite a few fish out there. Doesn't matter what the overall depth is. The fish are 25 to 35, but it's the same deal as it is down by the dam. You've got to have, you got to hit a lot of docks. You're not just going to pull up on every dock and catch them. You'll hit 3 or 4 and not have any fish on them, then hit that 5th one and boom, you'll find a group of fish, and you can usually catch 4 or 5 fish out of a group before they either scurry under the dock or just settle down. Come up in the James where I am today. I had a great buzzbait bite going up here, guys. Backs of the creeks. Basically every time I came up here in the last week, I could go to the back of any of the bigger creeks up here that flatten out and catch them on a buzzbait. We caught a few today, but it's not like it was. The water's dropped quite a bit, so there's not nearly as many bushes and grass in the water as we were catching them on last week, and the water's cleared quite a bit. Where I was catching them, they were less than a foot deep, and right now you've got probably 2.5 to 3 foot visibility in the backs of the creek, so these fish are not back in there like they were before. We did manage to catch a few on a buzzbait today. Most of them were leading out in little guts and little pockets leading out of the backs of the creek. So there is still a few fish back here in the backs of the creeks, but they're not nearly as strong as they were. And with them dropping the water and the water clearing, I think that bite's going to pretty much go away. Caught a few on a peewee football jig, but that bite was not nearly as strong. I probably spent too much time throwing a buzzbait this morning, to be honest with you, but the peewee football jig, we did catch a few on that. Threw a shaky head a little bit and never had a bite on it. We didn't have any wind and just dead slick calm. Probably didn't fish deep enough, and I didn't drop shot. Might have been able to put some in the boat on a drop shot up here as well. But for the most part, I've been throwing a buzzbait first thing and then switching up and throwing a peewee football jig or a shaky head or even a big football jig, anywhere from 15 to 20. Probably should have moved out deeper. Probably could have caught some fish. I would have moved the boat out to about 30 or 35 foot and fished that football jig out to about 30 foot deep. We probably would have got bit doing that today. Go up in the White River, and White River's got the same deal going on. You got a good swim bait bite up there. Catch them on a Kitech 2.8, on a Jewel Gem Shed 2.0. Early is better than late. Most of them relating to flat gravel. Most of them pretty shallow right off the bat, anywhere from about 3 to about 10 foot deep. As the sun comes up, you got to back out and then start scrubbing the bottom with it up there, but you can certainly catch them out there 15 to 20 foot deep on a swim bait. You can catch them on the peewee football jig, the squirrel head, Ned rig, tube, Jack and Jaws tube, whatever you want to throw on the bottom. You can certainly catch some up the White River on those gravel and gravel mix with rock points. They'll be out a little bit deeper once the sun comes up, anywhere from about 10 to about 25 foot deep. Catch them up there doing that, or throwing a big football jig, throwing the Jewel Heavy Cover football jig. 5/8 has been my best weight, anywhere from about 15 to 25, even 30 foot deep on that. And then the drop shot bite. You're going to hear a lot about the drop shot bite going forward. Now that they're dropping the water, it's really starting to pull these shad out of the bushes. It's pulling the fish out of the bushes. Another week of this, and we're going to be doing a lot of drop shotting coming up, and a lot of spooning, and probably going to start doing some spoon jacking too. I'll let you know on that next week. But these fish are going to start moving deeper. We're going to start catching them out there in that 25 to 35 foot range, and they'll be on a shad shaped worm, a Chomper's drop shot worm, a UV drop shot worm, any of those, and around the docks. You'll catch them around the docks as well. As a matter of fact, last week we caught a few around some of the bigger docks in the Baxter area, and they were just suspended there, 25 to 35 foot deep. So keep that in mind if you're coming down this weekend. Should have a good deep bite going by this weekend as well. Guys, it is first week of July. A little warm this morning, but fish didn't bite great today. I'm not sure exactly why. Like I said, I probably spent too much time fishing with a buzzbait because I really wanted that bite to work this morning. But fishing's good, catching them. Just got to adjust now. Things are going to be different. Things will probably be different for the next couple of weeks till the lake stabilizes and they either quit dropping it or hold it at one certain level. But the best way to stay on top of that, of course, join Table Rock Fishing Intel. Get those daily reports. That's the key to finding out where these fish are every day. Knowing where the guides and everyone else, where we're catching these fish. Know before you go. It's the key to catching fish down here. It gives you a real leg up and really helps you figure out the bite before you get down here. But If you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's a Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Take a minute to check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.